Margaret's daughter almost didn't suggest it. Her mother was 79, had grown noticeably weaker over the past 2 years, and had started avoiding stairs and long walks. When the doctor mentioned exercise, Margaret waved it off. She wasn't going to a gym. She wasn't lifting weights at her age. She'd fall, she said, or hurt herself or look ridiculous. The conversation ended there, and nothing changed for another 8 months. What finally worked wasn't a gym membership. It was a kitchen chair. Her daughter found a set of simple movements Margaret could do at home, sitting or holding onto that chair for about 10 minutes a day. No equipment, no floor work, nothing that required getting up and down or going anywhere. Margaret agreed to try, mostly to end the nagging. Within 6 weeks, she was rising from her chair without pushing off the armrests. Within 4 months, she was walking to the mailbox and back without stopping. Within a year, she'd stopped being afraid of the stairs. Nothing exotic happened. Her body simply did what human bodies do at any age when they're asked to work. It got stronger. I'm telling you Margaret's story today because this is the single most powerful, most underused intervention in all of elder care. And it's free. It happens at home, and it takes minutes a day. Strength and balance training is the closest thing we have to a treatment for the muscle loss, falls, frailty, and lost independence that families watch and grieve. And the biggest barrier is almost never the body. It's the belief that it's too late, too risky, or too hard. Today I'm going to give you 7 specific, simple, safe movements your parent can do at home, the exact ones that protect balance, rebuild strength, and preserve the ability to do daily tasks. I'll explain what each one protects, how to do it safely, and how to get a resistant parent to actually start. Because here is the truth at the center of this video. The ability to stand from a chair, climb stairs, and catch yourself when you stumble is not something age takes away. It's something disuse takes away, and it can be rebuilt. Before we go further, if you have a parent who's been getting weaker or less steady, this is information you can act on this week. Share this video with the family members who share their care. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do it now. Every week one publish content exactly like this, clinical, honest, and built for families navigating the care of an aging parent. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Let me start with a critical safety note, because doing this right matters. Before starting any new exercise program, your parent should talk with their doctor, especially if they have heart conditions, joint problems, recent surgeries, severe balance issues, or a history of falls. And for anyone who's already frail, unsteady, or recovering from illness, the right first step isn't a video like this. It's a referral to physical therapy, where a professional can assess them and build a program suited to their specific body. Ask the doctor for that referral. It's one of the most valuable things you can pursue. The movements I'm about to describe are gentle, chair-based, and designed for safety. But the universal rules apply. Have a sturdy chair or counter to hold. Never do balance work alone. If there's real fall risk, be there or make sure someone is. Stop with any sharp pain, dizziness, or chest discomfort. Move slowly and with control. And start small. A few repetitions is a real beginning. Now the 7 movements. 1. The sit to stand. This is the single most important exercise on this list. Your parent sits toward the front of a sturdy chair, feet flat and slightly back, and stands up, using the arms as little as possible, then sits back down slowly, with control. That's it. Why it matters more than anything else. This movement is the literal foundation of independence. It's how you get out of bed, off the toilet, out of a car, up from a couch. The muscles it builds, thighs, hips, and core, are the same ones that prevent falls and keep someone living in their own home. If your parent does only one exercise from this entire video, make it this one. Start with 3 to 5 repetitions, using the arm rests as needed, and build slowly toward 10 to 15 without hands. 2. Heel raises. Standing behind a chair and holding the back for support, your parent slowly rises up onto the balls of their feet, holds for a second, then lowers with control. 10 to 15 repetitions. This builds the calf and ankle strength that most people never think about, and ankles are central to balance. Strong calves help with walking, stairs, and the split-second adjustments the body makes to keep you upright when you stumble. 3. Standing marches. Holding the chair for support, your parent lifts one knee toward the waist, lowers it, then lifts the other. A slow, controlled marching in place. 10 lifts on each side. This strengthens the hip flexors and improves the ability to lift the feet properly while walking. That matters enormously because the shuffling gait that develops in older adults, feet barely clearing the ground, is a major cause of trips and falls. This movement directly counters it. 4. Side leg raises. Holding the chair, standing tall, your parent lifts one leg straight out to the side, keeping the toes pointed forward, then lowers it slowly. 10 on each side. This targets the hip abductors, the muscles on the outside of the hip that are essential for lateral stability. They're what keep you from tipping sideways, and they're heavily involved in staying balanced on one foot, which is what walking actually is. Weak hip abductors are strongly associated with falls. 5. The standing balance hold. Holding the chair with one or both hands, your parent stands on one foot for as long as comfortable, starting with just 5 seconds, then switches. As balance improves over weeks, they progress to holding with one finger and eventually just hovering the hand near the chair without touching. Balance is a trainable skill, and it deteriorates without practice. This is the most direct way to rebuild it, but it's also the movement that most requires supervision early on. Be present when your parent is learning this one. 6. Heel-to-toe walking. Along a countertop or hallway wall where a hand can rest for support, your parent walks slowly, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other, as if on a line. 10 to 15 steps. This trains dynamic balance while moving, which is where falls actually happen. It also improves coordination and the confidence to move through space without hesitation. 7. The wall push-up. Standing at arm's length from a wall, hands flat at shoulder height, your parent bends the elbows to lean toward the wall, then pushes back. 8 to 12 repetitions. This builds upper body and arm strength, which matters more than families realize. Arm strength is what lets someone push up from a chair or the floor, carry groceries, open doors, and critically, protect themselves if they do fall. It's also entirely safe, since there's no getting down to the floor involved. If you're finding this valuable, and I hope you are, take 1 second right now and hit the like button. It genuinely helps this content reach other families who don't know how simple this can be. Like and keep watching. Now let me talk about how to actually make this happen, because knowing the exercises isn't the hard part. Getting a reluctant parent to do them is. The most common resistance is fear. Fear of falling, fear of injury, fear of looking foolish or failing. Take that seriously rather than dismissing it. Emphasize that these movements are done seated or holding a chair, specifically designed to be safe. Offer to do them together. This removes the embarrassment and turns it into shared time rather than a prescription. The second barrier is the belief that it's pointless at their age. This is where you can be genuinely reassuring, because the evidence is overwhelming. Research on strength training in adults in their 80s and 90s, including frail nursing home residents, consistently shows real gains in strength, walking speed, and independence. Tell your parent that. It is almost never too late for a body to get stronger. And the third barrier is that it feels like a chore with no visible reward. This is where framing matters. Don't frame it as exercise. Frame it as the specific thing they care about. Being able to get out of their own chair, keep gardening, walk to the mailbox, stay in their home, not need help in the bathroom. Connect the movement to the life they want to keep. A few practical things that help enormously. Start absurdly small. 3 sit-to-stands a day is a genuine beginning, and small starts are what actually stick. Anchor the routine to something that already happens. Every morning after coffee, every time a commercial comes on. Make it consistent rather than intense. 10 minutes most days beats an hour once a week. Track progress visibly, because seeing improvement is what sustains motivation. Count how many sit-to-stands they can do this week versus last. And celebrate the functional wins, not the exercise itself. You got out of that chair without using your hands. This is the moment where I want to ask you something directly. If this video gave you something practical, you can actually start with your parent this week. Share it with the family members who share their care. When the whole family encourages the same simple routine, it's far more likely to stick than when one person nags alone. Share it. Leave a comment below telling me what's worked with your parent or what's been hardest. And subscribe if you haven't yet. It's one more thing that matters as much as the movement itself. Protein. Strength training gives the body the signal to build muscle. Protein gives it the raw material. Without adequate protein, the exercise can't do its full work, and most older adults eat far too little. Make sure your parent gets a real protein source at every meal. Eggs, yogurt, fish, chicken, legumes, cottage cheese. The combination of movement plus protein is what actually rebuilds strength, and either one alone is only half the equation. Here's what your family can do. Today, pick one exercise, make it the sit-to-stand, and do 3 repetitions with your parent. Just 3. Starting is the whole goal today. This week, talk with their doctor about starting an exercise routine and ask about a physical therapy referral, especially if there's any frailty, instability, or fall history. And establish when the routine will happen. Anchor it to something that already occurs daily. This month, build gradually toward doing several of these movements most days, and make sure protein is adequate at every meal. Track the progress somewhere visible. Ongoing. Keep it consistent and keep it connected to what your parent actually cares about. Celebrate the functional wins. And remember that this is not a temporary program, it's a permanent habit that protects independence for as long as it's maintained. Here is what I want you to carry with you from today. Margaret didn't get stronger because of a gym, a trainer, or equipment. She got stronger because someone in her family understood that her weakening wasn't inevitable, found something simple enough that she'd actually do it, and stayed with her long enough for it to work. A kitchen chair and 10 minutes a day gave her back years of independence. Your parent's body, at whatever age, still responds to being asked to work. That capacity doesn't disappear at 70 or 80 or 90. It just goes unused, and unused strength quietly drains away, until one day someone can't get out of their chair, and everyone calls it old age. You now know it isn't, and you know exactly where to start. 3 sit-to-stands today next to someone you love. That's the whole beginning. If this video gave you something real, something you're going to act on, or share with someone, or try with your own parent this week, please take a moment to like it. Share it with the people who share your parents' care, because this works best when the whole family is behind it. And leave a comment below telling me what you're navigating, what's worked for your family, or what you wish you'd known sooner. I read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe. This is where I publish honest, clinical, practical guidance for families trying to do right by the people they love every single week. Thank you for being here and for caring enough to watch all the way to the end. That attention is exactly what makes the difference. I'll see you soon.